My friends, you are listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. We will do them in that order. First, the big dog. We will jump into the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, and you can see where Bitcoin topped out on the week beginning the 8th of January, second week of this year, topped out at a high of $52 away from $50,000 a Bitcoin. And this week, 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks later, the low is $38,505. Now, Bitcoin made a nice, if you look at this 24-hour-a-day chart, as opposed to the chart that we follow every day, which is XBTC, which is the Van Eck Bitcoin Exchange chart. That is the ETF, the Exchange Traded Fund that we track, because you can just buy that in the open market. So we're practicing something that, we typically would have more access to than having to have an account at a Bitcoin exchange. But as you look at this, and it does track it rather accurately, you can see that when things started to climb, we didn't have any red down candles. We'll see that. In fact, I'll show you. Let me go there. It's not hard to do. We'll go to XBTF, the Van Eck Bitcoin Strategy. That's what it is, ETF. So what you see here is you see where things started to turn around. Then we had green, a doji, green, then a red, and then it went on. So it was much stronger, I would just say. If you look at the actual Bitcoin chart, didn't get a doji there. Well, got a doji, but it was a green one, so made us feel a little better. Don't worry about the red volume there. That just means that it opened lower than it closed that week. And again, then things really took off on Bitcoin, starting with that really high volume the 23rd of October. And of course, just continue to push up, sideways slide in here, but then, even through the end of the year, starting on January 1, things just booming up and then pulling back. Now, what we're hopeful about this pullback is it will make for a clean reset. So when Bitcoin gets ready to take off again, who knows when that'll be? Could be tomorrow, could be 2 or 3 months, a year from now. Don't know. But we will continue to watch. As we watched this last year, started the year off, Bitcoin bounded up, pulled back, bounded up, pulled back, bounded up, pulled back to where it had been there in June. Did that in, mid-year, going into August and September, and then started taking off, and really in October started moving up through the end of the year into the beginning of the year with that high, almost $50,000. So we're watching Bitcoin closely. Ethereum, it bounded up that first week of January to its high of $2,717.50. Its low, $2,165. And of course, it's turned red on us also. Last week started slowing. And then this week, it rotated over going down, broke that trend line. You can see on this latest 2-day candle, you can see where it touched it on the prior one, first day of this latest 2-day candle, moving on down. Now we look at, and this chart is curious to me. This is the Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index Fund. We show this to you every week because it's top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share, Bitcoin being the big dog here. But you can see this huge down move last week. Really bounding down. You look at where it had been the week before with the doji here, and above average volume there, but last week's volume, crazy down. And as you look at, the high it hit, it was 2620. Look at the low here, down to 1450, 2620 to 1415. That is 40% something. Crazy. So again, a big old down move there from 2620 to 1415. Now it's recovered some from that, but still just crazy. And I can't explain to you what that is about, but I would ask you, take a look at that and see, you can compare what's happening with Bitwise, what's going on with Bitcoin, what's going on with Ethereum, And then, of course, if you're into some of those other cryptocurrencies, you can sure compare them. And remember, if the market share is based on what? Based on the weighted per market share, if that's the way that actually this ETF is set up, which it is, then of course you realize what a big dog and big player Bitcoin is. And next to that, of course, Ethereum. So just things for you to look at, pay attention to. We wanted to point out. Let's pump through a few commodities and then we'll get on to currency. Sugarcane. We talked about sugarcane bottoming there at the end of the year, beginning of the year. Sugarcane starting to move up for the day alone, 0.81%. What about corn? Corn, it's not hitting the low of last week, but boy, it's been going down for a while. Keep an eye on corn. See if it does not turn around at some point and start moving up, but it's been going down for a while. Copper bounded up there toward the end of the year and then rotating over. It's sitting right there on the weekly trend line at this point. Silver, did silver pull back after hitting its high in late November, hitting a high of $23.37 down to $20.07 at the low so far this week. So silver really pulling back. We'll see when silver takes off again. Love to see a run up like this. Average volume peaking at the down, rotating over with high volume and moving up. We saw that happen back March 6, and then that week where it turned around March 13 and went up for several weeks nicely after that. Love to see that kind of pattern set up again, and it's set up after what? After a nice, clean, long down move. So put this in your show notes. Pay attention to that. You might have a chance for a nice practice trade in silver. Remember, not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We don't give market advice. We want you to practice trade with us. It is so much less risky that way. Okay, for you, let's jump into these charts. Soybeans, they've been going down for many weeks since they peaked back in mid-November. Then things started moving down in late November and keep on going down. That's our commodities to look at. Again, when you've seen these bound down for quite a while, look for potential bottoms. See if they don't turn over. You can see how soybeans did turn over and bounded up quite nicely. That happened last year around mid-year. So keep those little things in mind. See what you see. Okay, now let's move from commodities to currencies. Only got 3 to look at. British pound, doing nothing. British pound ran up for many, many weeks until at the end of the year, and now it's just skipping sideways. Down the first week of the year, up a little bit, down the third week, up a little bit this week. So we'll see where that goes. Nothing clear there. The euro, it bounded up there at the end of the year and then just moving down for the day 0.38%, hitting a lower low this week already. So we'll see what happens with the euro as it continues through time. Lastly, we'll look at the Japanese yen. It also bounded up there at the end of the year and then has rotated over the last going into the 4th week. So interesting, as we saw at the end of the year, some of these international currencies move up and then just sort of die over at the beginning of the year. So we'll continue to watch, wait, and see where that goes. We always love to hear from you. You have questions, problems, concerns, reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. As always, Patreon members, we appreciate all your support, and we appreciate everyone being here with us. Take care.